Hey, welcome into the GASOCAST. I'm your host, Ryan Massett, joined alongside Blues Bertucci, Michael Timmins. It's August 18th. We wanted to catch you up on some things since our last GASOCAST. So, Blue, I'm going to kick it over to you for a little bit of housekeeping.
Yeah, we're approaching September pretty quickly, so it's time for GASO Fall Classics. September 11th, we're going to be in Duncanville at the Fieldhouse, and we're also, for the first time, going to have a JV portion, and we're going to also be using Drive Nation, so that's September 11th. September 25th, we'll be in San Antonio at Mission Concepcion. October 9th in Houston at MI3 Center, and then the conclusion of our Fall Classics will be October 16th at Mansfield Fieldhouse. Follow us on Texas Hoops GASO on Twitter for updates of committed teams today and throughout the week. Also, Tops in Texas, always been huge in the month of September. We have two of them. September 12th on Sunday. These are both Sunday. Tops in Texas, September 12th, held at Duncanville Fieldhouse. And September 26th will be at Mission Concepcion in San Antonio. Once again, check Twitter for information on signups here, and kick it over to Mass for some news and notes.
Yeah, we're going to go through some of the commitments that have happened recently. We've got a lot of guys that we want to just hit on, congratulate, and run down. I'm going to start with first a guy who played phenomenal at every GASO he was at this year. Mason Docks, he committed to UMBC. Give me your thoughts.
Man, I just think he's just an uber competitor, for size, not the biggest guard, but the energy, the creating for himself and other teammates. I mean, just anytime I filmed him, the game just feels like it's more exciting when he's on the court. So I just think his presence into this UMBC school and team, more energy. They're going to get a big-time energy guy, big-time skill guy, and just a big-time guy that's going to bring it.
My first thought is, how does he get out of the state of Texas? And originally from Michigan, he goes to Cy Ranch, going to UMBC. I mean, that's a great get. I think that's a steal of the class, especially where we have him ranking in that top 30.
Yeah, I mean, floor general, unbelievable pick and roll player. I love Mason Docks, and I think he's going to be excellent there. The next guy, a Louisiana Tech commit, BB Knight. He was really a big riser in our rankings over the last year. Blue, you're a big catalyst of that. You loved BB Knight. You were on that early.
Yeah, he just kind of exploded just size-wise from his junior going into his senior year. I mean, being nearly 6'5", can shoot it, great athleticism. He showed more dimension to his game than just being a catch-and-shoot guy. We saw him pushing the ball. We saw him eyeing that basket, putting it on the floor, going and wanting to just throw it down somebody's throat. And all of that translates his entire game, and we've been saying that for the last couple years. He's been on varsity since his freshman year.
And this is a really big get for Louisiana Tech. I mean, if you look at BB Knight's interest in offers, a lot of high majors really wanted a part of this guy's recruitment. So credit to La Tech for getting a really big steal out of BB Knight. I think he's going to do really well over there.
Absolutely. Another guy, Amari Abram. That's my guy.
I'll
just be honest. That's my guy. He committed to Texas A&M. I think he's great. Fantastic feel. I'm trying to stop throwing that word around because it gets thrown around too much, but Amari Abram has it. When he has the ball in the open court, he's always making the right decision. He really showed the ability to shoot the ball. And then he has these crafty ways of getting by people with using angles, shooting little floaters over people. Great fit. Love him going to Texas A&M. I think he's a dog, and the boy can defend.
And I think that's what Buzz Williams wants. He needs intelligent guys out there on the perimeter, running the sets, understanding defense, and Amari Abram has that capability to catch on very quickly for that next level. And, we said it back in the spring, and even before then, just watching him down the stretch of the playoffs run.
Yeah,
he was the catalyst for them at Summer Creek to get them going, and he's just going to be a perfect fit, I think, at A&M.
Absolutely. Keon Williams, he's definitely an office favorite. Yeah. Timmins, why don't you tell us about you've mentioned just how exceptional he is as a basketball player as a whole.
Just one of those guys that does everything you need, and he's going to turn himself into, with no disrespect, a high major glue guy, which these days and age, winning matters, and I think he's going to help bring a lot of wins to Oklahoma State. he does everything. And before we talk about the fact that some people want to say, oh, all the intangibles of rebounding, defending, toughness, I mean, he can put the ball in the basket as well. So I just think this is a great pickup for Oklahoma State. I mean, he's just a warrior, man. And I'm excited to see him this year finish up his senior year and go over to Oklahoma State and do some big things.
And I think that's what Oklahoma State does. They have their little niche. I mean, we can go back to Isaac Likely, winner.
Marcus Smart.
Yes, winner.
They have a mold.
They have, yes, and especially with that staff there now, you know, they pinpointed very quickly, oh, that's our guy, that we can put him at multiple positions. He's going to do something to help us win.
Yep, you're going to win a lot of games with guys like Keon Williams. Moving into a guy who has been in the state for a little while, left, and came back and really made an impression late in the summer, Terrence Ramirez. He had a great summer. He signed to UTA.
And he was one of your Fab Five.
Exactly. He was a Fab Five. I look for him to go into UTA with his athleticism that really fits UTA and what they try to get accomplished. And if you watch UTA over the years, I mean, Greg Young's going to want an athletic guard, somebody that's going to hit the three, but also be able to just blow by defenders and set up teammates and so forth, because he's going to be some type of combo guard. Yeah. And I think that Terrence is really hungry to show people that, hey, that UTA got their right guy.
And he's the type of guy that college shot clock, we might not have it here in Texas right now, but when a play breaks down at the end of the shot clock, I really trust Terrence Ramirez to get whatever shot he wants off and make a bucket down the stretch of the shot clock running down.
I call those irrational confidence guys. But he's a rational confidence guy because he's got the tools to make the plays that happen. And you know, this guy is he's a bucket. He's gonna get you some points, man. No matter coming off the bench, starting, you can throw him in and you can count on. Yeah. Some buckets are going to go down. So, Terrence Ramirez, UTA, he committed there a couple weeks ago. Moving into some 2021 signings, Damania Davis signed with Texas A&M Commerce. Spectacular athlete.
Great get when you're talking about August leading into September right before school starts.
Wow.
Let's not fail to mention this, high academic.
Yeah.
Like he was, I don't know if he was going to walk on at TCU or not, but he was kind of waiting for maybe that last scholarship to open up somewhere, and now he winds up at Texas A&M Commerce in the Lone Star Conference. Athleticism, speed, quickness, in transition. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to catch him.
I agree. He's special with the ball in his hands in the open floor. I mean, just like you said, transition, something's going to happen. And it's going to be a good thing for Texas A&M.
I think he finished in our top 40 in the rankings. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's not like it was just like, hey, let's just go get somebody and sign him. No, they went out and got themselves a player this late.
And I think what I liked about him is he played unsigned senior. He just went out there and played.
Yeah.
You know, he let everything take care of itself, and I'm very happy for the kid and the situation for him.
Absolutely. Another guy who had ranked very highly in the 2021 class who signed, Jamil Koffer, signed at SFA. Love Jamil's game.
Yeah. He was a top 10 kid, we've mentioned before he had left the state. Then he came back. He was still top 13 in that 12 to 14 range. Had high majors calling about him. And you know what? SFA likes to go out there and sneak one of those guys into their program. Then when nobody's watching, boom, they go get him. And Jamil is a guard that show flashes of just insane athleticism and the understanding of being the main ball handler, the leader out there, and that's an exciting get for the Lumberjacks because he is a complete player.
Yeah, we were in Austin last year at the ASAC Classic, and there was a lot of good teams there, and I thought he was the very best player at that event last year. He was stealing the ball, excellent defender, guarding both guards positions, and when he has the ball in his hands, he just can make plays for himself and for others. So I really like that get.
And his season was cut short because of COVID. Universal Academy ended right before the December break of 2020. So it had to be some quick decisions made by colleges, and SFA was on it, and they got their guy.
And as a highlight guy, he's a freak 1-foot jumper. I mean, I have a nice little catalog of him absolutely bodying people. So, you know, like I said, what I love is he guards hard, man.
He does.
And he can kind of sniff out who the guy is on the other team and takes that responsibility very seriously, and will let him know about it too and get up in him. So that's a great gift for SFA.
Absolutely. Moving into another 2021, our last one, that is a recent signing. Blake Nielsen from THP Blue, big guard, moved in from Australia, played at Westlake. I mean, he has St. Ed's written all over him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's great both sides.
Well, he was going to go prep.
Yep.
His dad is, I believe, an assistant with the local Austin Spurs team in the G League. So obviously this kid has a lot of knowledge, and he's probably soaked up so much of it over the years. I don't want to speak too freely about this, but if he was part of that 2022 class that's coming up, he might be along the lines of talking of the shooting caliber of BB Knight, Brendan Haas, and some of those other legit two guards. I love this kid. 6'6" or 6'7", can shoot the three, runs his lane. That is, and St. Ed's was targeting him and trying to see if they could break through, and finally they did right before the midnight hour of school starting. That's a great get with a lot of potential there in this game.
I also liked when Blake had the ball in his hands as well. Like, that THP group had such a free-flowing concept of playing, get in the lane and pitch, and he got by guys too. Like, Blake's very sneaky, really, really good prospect. Really enjoyed watching him this summer, and I'm happy for them. Just want to congratulate all these guys for committing and signing, and we wish you the best of luck there. Now heading into the live period blow-up players. You know, we at our July 8 through 11 event and our July 16 to 18 event in Keller in Fort Worth, we saw a lot of really, really talented players and guys who rose their stock in massive ways. And I want to start with Kyron Lindsay, because I don't think there's a guy who jumped further in my mind, in y'all's minds, in the college coaches' minds, than Kyron Lindsay. I mean,
maybe even in the country.
Yeah, he was absolutely spectacular all of open period.
Well, I mean, you can go ahead and lead off. I mean, you were at Peach Jam. You saw him July 8th and 11th in Duncanville. Then you got a chance to see him a couple times throughout the rest of July. I mean, he was phenomenal.
I just think it was one of those kids. We knew the skill was there. We knew the production was there. And what benefited Kyron Lindsay was the platform he was able to play on. Mm-hmm. You know, with pro skills, you know, he came over from max level elite where he was very uber productive and was putting up double-doubles. Now you come over to pro skills where they're going to give you maybe a bump in the platform. So right off the bat, he played in 2 big games in our GASO versus Drive Nation JL3, 2 EYBL teams. And then he heads over to Peach Jam and plays potentially the number 1 player in the country in Jalen Duran, wins that game. And then, I mean, from there, those 13 games in Peach Jam that I saw him play with, I mean, it was big-time double-doubles, looking like the best big in the country at times. He doesn't mess around. He runs the floor hard. He finishes, no nonsense, doesn't try to be cute. And just, I think, everybody, college coaches, media evaluators, saw it played at the absolute highest level. So there's no doubt in my mind that when you're like, okay, he could do it here, but can he do it here? He can do it anywhere at this point.
That's right.
And I think the dozens of offers that he's gotten, I think he can play anywhere in the country.
I saw something in him, as you can attest to it. I saw them in a 40-point blowout at Denton Geyer. McKinney really gave it to him. But I came back even after Geyer, which he goes to high school, even on that 40-point loss, I saw something. Now, I would have looked like the most intelligent guy if I said he was a top 20 player, but you could see the motor was there. There was the energy level. It kind of goes, you can kind of go in and out at that point, and those types of losses and not being that good of a team. They're going to be way better this year. However, you could see the talent. He's at 42 right now in our state ranking, which he's going up. And so that's, I think that we saw it collectively, and he put it all together. And he's going to be really good at wherever he goes. Huge hands, able to just snag the ball with just one hand, pull it down. And he's very smart to look up the court and get the ball in the outlets and then run the floor. And he's tough.
And when we say he's going up in our rankings from 42, he's going way up.
Moving into another guy who had really starting at when we saw him at the TABC event, then moving into the open period, and then had a great peach jam. Brendan Housen, he cemented who he was as a top prospect, and that he deserves to go to a high major, and he's going to be able to contribute over time. Like I'm very excited for the prospects of Brendan Housen. You have loved Brendan Housen since he was a freshman.
That's right.
And why don't you expand?
I mean, I remember the first time I saw him was we had heard about him obviously, and then going to first one was the first weekend in December of his freshman year at Spring Creek Invitational that's at Mansfield every year. Just watching him, just as a shooter, just being able to kind of read the defense a little bit, run the lanes, get into open spots, and knock down shots is what he's always been good at. He has very good skill level. I talked about it in my Fab Five, how he is also one of the smarter leaders out there, knowing where everybody should be on the court. He barks at his teammates in a positive way, but he gets everybody into positions. Villanova came in not to watch Brendan. They came in to watch some other people, the Great American Shootout, that first open weekend, and then walked away impressed with Brendan. And so I think that he is more valuable off the ball, where he can make plays because he thinks the game. Mother played at the University of Texas, so another bloodline there. And he's very exciting to watch because he's one of those shooters that's going to be playing at the college level, hitting 40% of his three-pointers.
And I think also it benefited Brendan, just like a lot of kids that went from the GASO to the EYBL. High-level games over and over again. I think the game slowed down from the standpoint of Brendan had the ball in his hands more at the highest level, and he was able to adapt and adjust. I think that's what we all wanted to see. And then his stats show from themselves. I know Team Griffin, struggled in the EYBL a little bit, but Brendan Housen made a lot of plays against, in majority of the games, the best defender on the EYBL opposing team was guarding Brendan Housen. And if you go look at his stats from the EYBL, he put up some really monster numbers. Yeah. So I think now just the confidence with a lot of these kids going from a really high level live period session going back to the high school, I think it's going to slow down. I think his ball handling and his decision making is just going to really value that.
Right. Moving into Chase Ross, played for Drive Nation this summer. He was absolutely fantastic at our live period. Just kind of being a do-it-all guy. He defended. He's one of these guys who's very multiple. He can make plays, and he just made a lot of plays down the stretch. In particular, the game against Pro Skills, that I just remember. Man, this guy is putting it away. What do you think of Chase?
I think
we've liked him for years.
I love his athleticism. I think he continuously shot it better and better as the live period went on. I think that's why he's on this list. We know how much of a freak athletically he is. The way he's able to run in transition, that puts more pressure on defense than most people think. Just taking off and running. He runs like a gazelle. He finishes over everybody. He dunked on Casey Wallace, who, if that's the only time you saw it, that might be the only time, because Casey Wallace just really doesn't lose battles at the rim when he's trying to block people. So, freak athletic, but the way he shot it, like I said, I went to Peach Jam, the way he even shot it there for Drive Nation, I think he's why he blew up on this list, and it's high major. He got to those high major offers.
Yeah, and one thing about Chase is that he's always been able to put the ball on the floor and go. That was always his main tool, and it was hard to stop. But he has physically blossomed. So now you take that ability to get to the rim. Now you're physically pushing defenders out of the paint as you go and lay it in or go throw it down. And I just think his body of work has matured, that where we're to this point where you have those high majors calling him and offering, and he just blossomed at the right time. And that's what happens with some guys. You're not, the top 10 never stays the same. The top 20 never stays the same, because you always have a guy that just keeps working. And that was Chase when he showed it this July.
Absolutely.
The last player that we wrote on here that blew up at live period, and it was a guy that we have always pegged as having some serious talent and upside. But it all kind of came together, like you had mentioned previously about some of these other guys. Chauncey Gibson, he blew up at live period. Dude was making shots. And when he does that at that size, it's Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Every time I see Chauncey in person, I'm like, wow, I forget how big he is.
He's huge.
Yes.
He's
He's 6'6".
legit 6'5", 6'6".
6'6".
Yeah.
And I think a more talented roster for Dallas Showtime allowed him to, I think, have a better shot selection to where these schools that recruit him now don't have to see him shooting 20 and 30 shots in a game. I know that's a lot, but exaggerating. But they just see enough to where he's more efficient. They're like, wow, that kid can score from anywhere he wants, and he was doing it more efficiently. So I think credit to the program he played with. I mean, I just think that he didn't have to do as much, and he was able to have more isolation situations where he could better show his skill set. And I think that's really why, once again, I think he's on this list and why he got all these offers.
I think that one thing we look back on, he was part of a championship caliber team that made it to state in 5A last year with Dallas Kimball. I don't know if late in the season he was playing his greatest basketball, but he played it in July. And like you said, when you're 6'6" and running the floor, people
bearing
gonna stop.
threes.
Yeah. And that's the key, though. He got his shot falling again. There was times where I watched him and was like, is it ever going to fall back in? Everything looks great. But even when he wasn't making shots, he's a 6'6" dude running up the court, handling the ball, handling pressure, giving the ball to open teammates. He found ways to be productive. And so now the production that he's showing as a ball handler, as a guy that can get the ball up the court and also hit that three that should be his main tool, he was really good. And he was what we once thought he was when he was a top 25 guy in the state.
Heading into another segment, a Who Won You Over segment. We thought this would be a really fun segment because we're looking at guys who maybe the first time you watched them, you liked them, yeah. But then the second time you watched them, you liked them a little more, and then so on and so forth. By the end, you're just like, I love that kid. And, it happens a lot, and that's why we try and go out, and when we watch, we want to watch them in a summer setting a couple times. We want to watch them in a high school setting a couple times. We want to see these guys in multiple ways to make sure that we are getting the correct evaluation. So, Timmins, I'm going to pass it to you to start it. Why don't you kick us off and hit us with your three guys who won you over this summer?
I'll start with Dink Pate. They threw Dink right up to 17s as a 2024. I had my questions. How much playing time he's gonna get. Is he gonna have a major impact? Is he gonna show flashes? Well, as Urban DFW finished this season, Dink was on the court for meaningful minutes and won them games. So for him to get that experience and know that they trusted him and went to him, we know he can shoot it. But I just think that he took a big step forward as a real big name in this 2024 class because of this experience. We saw him. I think one of his first tournaments for Urban DFW was at our own estate, and I think the game has slowed down, and that's scary for a kid that talented. So Dink Pate's the first kid that, like I said, I liked him, but I didn't want him to really lose a summer just by playing up in 17. Some people just play up,
right?
But he actually had meaningful.
He played up.
He played up. Another kid we talked about, Amari Abram. He was always, like I said, one of the talented most kids, but it was deceptive, but he just started to get it done every time I saw him. And, playing with that Houston Hoops team, I'm a highlight guy, so I was around the big games a lot, and he's just a gamer, man. Pace that you can't handle, can shoot it. He really shot it well. I didn't think he was going to keep shooting it consistently over and over like that, but even at the UIBL, hit a game winner. He's just a dude, man. And they call him sleepy. I've mentioned that before, but he's deceptively fast. He just knows how to turn it on and off whenever he wants. And he can go. The third person, Caleb Taylor, for me. I really didn't know too much about him. I was like, wait, who is this kid flying around blocking shots for PB Nation? But I mean, his timing and there's not a lot of true basket running bigs that are just willing to just play their role. He would sit down in the paint, catch it, hook shots and things like that, but he just wanted to just cause havoc. And I think with the size and athleticism, that really stood out for me. So those were kind of the three guys that won me over. And like I said, it wasn't that they were ever going to lose me, but when I say won me over, I mean these are guys I'm like, okay, yeah, they're big time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and move into my three guys that won me over this summer. I'm going to kick it off with Matthew Soto. The hard work team as a whole really won me over, but Matthew Soto in particular, he's true point guard. He can really shoot the ball. He can run the team, and his start-stop is just fantastic. He plays unselfish. I watched him, and I was just like, man, I would really enjoy playing with that guy. Because I know if I'm open, I'm getting the ball. And if I'm pitching to him, I know the ball's going in. So Matthew Soto was just a guy over and over and over again in the summer that I saw. I was just like, every time I walked away just liking him a little bit more and a little bit more. And I was like, that guy's a winner, and that guy, he produces. Next guy I want to talk about, Tyshon Archie. Played for Team Temple this summer. And the pace that he plays with is superior. He's a little more of a slender build, so he uses that to his advantage. When he's coming off a screen roll, somebody's hedging, he'll slip right in between and split it and go make a play at the rim. And bigger guys are coming to block a shot. He's going to do an off-foot shot to kill that timing. And he just does a lot of special things that I'm just like, wow. Really good with the ball in his hands, and I really enjoyed watching that Team Temple 16U group when Jacob Hudson came, and now Tyshon got to play off the ball a little bit more and then play both guard roles. He really took a step up in my book. I really, really enjoyed watching Tyshon Archie this summer. And my last guy, Trenton Walters. The first time I was introduced to Trenton, I watched him last year. Frisco Liberty played Prosper, and he had 16 points, and he dominated the game. In which I liked another prospect on Prosper, Jackson Ford, and these two, freshman and sophomore, going at it. Not obviously one-on-one, but just in the game you could tell who was kind of playing the game well. And Trenton he just kind of owned the game. Moved to this summer, I come see him, and the thing I noticed most about this summer, I felt like there was just a little bit more space. Prosper kind of packs it in and plays a little bit more, defends the paint a little bit more. So in the summer, I saw the space is a little more open, and Trenton can get anywhere he wants, anytime he wants, and the space and the quickness that he uses to create for himself and others is absolutely top notch. I'm not sure there's anybody better at creating space in high school basketball right now. That's how highly I think of Trenton. Blue, who is your players who won you over?
Well, we'll start with Silas Livingston from San Antonio Cole, who played with Team Hard Work. Committed early to Incarnate Word. I'll admit I kind of scratched my head and go, okay, it's really soon. But then you really start concentrating on what he does. And he's a lead guard. He's 5'7" and maybe 150 pounds. But him playing on Hard Work actually helps open up the big picture for him, I thought, because he has shooters on each wing. He has a big in the middle, and he was able, at the GASO level of the NBA's, penetrate, kick. He's shifty with the ball. He does so many, just the knowledge he has, gets him to spot A to spot B, pushes the ball. He has a burst to him. There's so many things that he does out there that he was doing at San Antonio Cole, but you can go, he's at a lower level. No. We purposely put them against some of the best teams and most athletic teams, which also helped, I think, Soto, to see what was going to happen when they played against a Dallas Fort Worth team that was going to ball pressure you and pick you up 94 feet. Well, I think he answered the questions of what he could do with the ball. He's just going to blow by you and go set up something in the half-court offense because he doesn't need to score all the time. But if he had a lane, he would go and he'd go finish, and he grew on me. And I think I can see why the excitement of the Incarnate Word staff really wanted him to be a part of their program at the end of his 2022 graduation. Logan Epps, you smile because I know that you were like, watch him. Well, seen him during the high school season, of course, and kind of just walked away going, okay, he sits out there and shoots it. Then during Memorial Weekend at GASO in Carrollton, he is carrying his team to wins, to like huge wins. Right? He pushes them to the limits, and it was because of his one, his ball handling, and two, the way he could create and knock down shots. Then we get to the Keller open period, our last one right there in the middle of July. My goodness. They gave him the ball, and what did he do for Texas Impact? Kept dropping threes, kept dropping threes, kept dropping threes. And I'm with you. He's a shooter that was going to shoot the ball and make them. And I just loved his poise out there and his confidence. And then finally, let's go out of the box a little bit. Grayson Ryan. I mean, it's a guy that you were able to coach at the Colony. His dad is the head coach of the Colony, and you just you watch him on film, you see him in person, you see this long, lanky guy just running up and down the court. But man, he has a soft touch. He's got a soft touch from 15 feet all the way out past the 3-point line. The elbow shot, of course, the coach's son, so we can stereotype him. He's out there pointing fingers at his teammates, getting them going. He really increased his stock because he did all of the things that you expected him to do with that coaching background of his family and how much he studies the game. You can tell. I mean, because he can jump in probably on any team and pick up immediately what his role is going to be and what everybody else's role is. And so I think that late in that season there was a lot of lower level Division III guys there, some D3s, wanting him. And when you're sitting there talking to those coaches, they want Grayson Ryan. Yeah. And there's a reason why. I like that.
Moving into our last bit of the Who Won Us Over, we decided to do a collective Who Won Us Over because there were players who, moving in that just they're phenomenal down the stretch. And it was great to see. I'm going to start with two brothers. We got a 2022 and a 2023. Kamari and Marcus Millender played for the Houston Defenders. They were electric at the TABC, and that Clearbrook group, man, wow! And those two are the catalysts.
That answered any questions I had about them.
Absolutely.
First thing, they play extremely hard. They are dudes that are out there in your face, pushing you at your chest.
94 feet.
They are attacking the rim offensively, and then once that ball goes in, they're looking to see which guy they're going to pick up because they just want to harass you. And I think that was a big part of oh wow, these kids, when you have a motor and it never lets up throughout a game, and you back that up with being able to hit some buckets, get a little mid-range jumper, because it's such a fast game for them. They're setting the pace. Yeah. They're out there stopping 15 feet, knocking down shots, looking to defend, getting their hands on deflections. There's so many things that they do out there that helps their team to victory, and they win games.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. It's easy to get a bucket, and when you have a little bit of swagger, a little pep in your step, get back on defense, kind of backpedal, look kind of pretty. But every single time the ball in the basket, they're bouncing around on their toes, just finding whoever it is to guard.
Yeah.
And when you're getting guarded hard and you're also able to put pressure on the defense and go score, it's going to be a long night for the opposing team. And to stay mentally checked in against that Clearbrook squad is going to be hard for all 32 minutes of the game.
Absolutely. Our second guy, Austin Benigni. Talk about that kind of just swagger and toughness, and Austin has it all, man. And we saw him over and over and over again play at the highest level with the ball in his hands quite a bit and just be the guy for them. For Houston Hoops. He played for a couple groups that we saw him this year, but he was always putting his own stamp on the game. And I just loved his toughness, his ability to compete against anyone and play with this little chip on his shoulder, I'm not backing down. I don't care who you are. And I mean, Austin's a guy who completely won me over.
Yeah, great feet on defense is what I don't think most people are going to think about. I mean, you see some people that play hard, but he actually is able to move his feet, get in position on defense, and really make it tough for the opposing point guard. I think what he learned, and pretty quickly over the summer, was as he plays with higher level of teammates around him, he slowly scaled back himself trying to do too much, and understood that he needed to get everybody else involved. Whether it's attacking and kicking to a BB night, or understanding that Amari Abram has it going, or making sure that he finds Zuby running the floor for that Houston Hoops team. I think that's what really opened eyes to a lot of these college coaches to say, okay, he's a true floor general. And admittedly, as a highlight guy, like I always say, I love the razzle-dazzle. I love the inside hand scoop finish that he really likes to do. I love the toughness. But when some people on the outside looking in are saying, okay, he's just doing a lot, for him to settle down and run the show and get his team into winning situations is what I really liked in his growth.
I'll be the first one to admit for myself, I thought I built up a little barrier between me and his evaluation because I thought that there was too much razzle-dazzle for the highlight rather than to really expose who he was as a basketball player. And when we talked about it, especially after Own the State, when you pull back those layers of the onion, that guy won me over that weekend because he became the distributor. That razzle-dazzle, guess what? I learned it's part of his game. Don't take that away from him. And I told many college coaches, don't take that away. What you see on film, that's a good thing because he is going to get everybody around him, get them to another level, whether it's by getting them hype, whatever. Just the little ooh and ah of a shiftiness. Defense goes this way, he goes that way, and goes and finish. And the confidence that he has, he don't care if Zuby's the one guarding him. He's going to try to get his knee into Zuby's chest and finish at the rim, just with layups and craftiness, and then all of a sudden, just a little zip right there on the perimeter. Once again, creating that space, knocking down threes. The confidence, though, that's part of his game because he's going to look at you. You saw it in his eyes that I don't care where you're ranked. I don't care who you are. I am better than you.
I'll also say one of the best hesitations.
Oh,
man, it's nasty. We love watching it, Austin.
I love the highlights now that I see it.
Yeah,
I
absolutely. Absolutely. The last guy we're going to talk about that won all three of us over, and we saw him many times this summer, Donovan Santoro. He's always had the size. He's always had the ability. We felt like it just came together this summer.
What I liked about him is that, one, you got to be able to shoot it. And he can do that, flick of the wrist effortlessly. I think THP put him in different situations where he had to play the four sometimes, and he showed that he's a mismatch when a four is guarding him. And then all of a sudden, I'm over there filming games, and he's playing the wing position, and he has some stuff to his bag that I didn't really know about. And I just think that came with time when you're confident shooting, and now you're able to put the ball in your hand and make plays at 6'6", 6'7", long and lanky. I think this is a prospect where the sky's the limit for him. And I'm really excited, and I really like his growth this summer.
We saw flashes of it in the summer of 2020 after he moved in. We saw what he was going to possibly be. He enrolls at Westlake. That's where he moved from California. It's just okay. Played
ups and downs.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs for him. So now here we are a year later. Which one's the real Donovan Santoro? I think this is it. Because there's a sense of urgency in his game. And he went back to being at a higher level of who he was a year ago. And so what's going to happen, I believe, once he gets back to Austin Westlake and start playing ball there, he's going to be the focal point. He's going to have chances to show that he's one of the better players in that Central Texas, which I have no doubt that he is, in that among one of the best players in the state. And he's exciting to watch because of that skill level, that length, the ability to step out and knock down the three or go baseline on you and throw it down. Exciting basketball is in his future.
That's going to do it for this GASOCast. If you will, follow us on Twitter, at Texas Hoops Gaso, and on Instagram, at Texas Hoops Gaso. You can get all the updates, news, and notes there as well. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day.